Hey, and speaking of sports. Sports.
You get hurt.
You get hurt, and it's
Cleaning
a bummer.
your bathroom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not sports. I mean, there's a
I
sport.
did, in fact, get hurt cleaning my bathroom. Other people, though, they do like actual physical activity and get hurt, and that's a bummer. It's probably happened to you at some point, participating in your favorite physical activity. All of a sudden, you hurt yourself. Your elbow. What's the most common injury that you see, Eric? This is Eric, by the way. Fat Dad Health.
Sup?
Yeah, this is him.
Morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Yeah, I mean, we look at low backs and knees are a lot of the time, and it's normally doing something like cleaning your bathroom. I slipped in the kitchen. I was picking my child up and turned a certain way, getting groceries out of a car. But it's really like that straw that broke the camel's back. It wasn't that particular activity that caused the injury. And really the path to take once you have an injury isn't to have that old school of like the rice, where you rest, ice, compression, elevation, and just don't do anything. Data shows that the more you're moving, the more you're stretching, the more you're getting blood flow and oxygen to your system, you're going to make a quicker recovery. But the flip side of that is the mental side, right? It's easy to have an injury and go, I'm not going to do anything. Well, you're not getting those endorphins released or that dopamine hit that you get when you exercise, and you start to slide into that depression side, like, oh, I can't do anything because my knee is in a brace, I can't do anything at all with it. Well, do what you can. If it's upper body bands, if it's swimming, if it's just something that you can do moving wise. If you're a walker and you have a knee injury, well, maybe you're getting on an upper body bike, or you're doing an elliptical or something that's not going to impact it as much. So how are you navigating your injury? How's it?
Well, yesterday I rewarded myself after I cleaned the bathroom by laying on the couch.
Oh, there you go.
Obviously.
That's the way to do it.
I mean, yes, clearly that's the way to go about it. It's so funny. When you said rice, I thought you meant like when your phone falls in the water and you just like put yourself in rice and hope to reset.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that that's not what it is. Now,
no.
You say, not to do what I do and just lay on the couch right afterwards, but is there a way that you can still exercise safely and not exacerbate, whatever injury you might have?
Yeah, so going back to what I was touching on previously with your activity is that you're able to take part in activity, but do light activity, something that you can feel that maybe that injured area is getting movement and blood flow and that oxygen that's going to help increase your recovery, but not overdoing it. And it's really important to stay moving, because the more you don't move, the more that area stays tight, the longer it takes for that injury recovery to happen, and doesn't allow you to get back to your normal activities. It can really put you in that downward spiral, mentally and physically, to go, well, I'm not able to work out, so I'm not going to eat right, I'm not going to do these other things, or I'm not just going to stay on my normal schedule. It's something that is important to make sure that you stay mentally and physically active even during those injuries, and just do what you can around that injury.
So what's a good example in our last minute here? So for a perfect example, I hurt my back.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be lifting weights.
Right.
But I can go and do what?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you be lifting weights?
Should I be, even though
Maybe
my
you
back
shouldn't be
hurts?
doing I got big heavy deadlifts.
I'm not going to squat
when you
PR.
look at some of these isolated machines, if you're doing something for your arms or your back or your chest, and you're able to be stable in a position on the machine, is one thing. I wouldn't say do a lot of stuff standing where it's stabilization, where we normally have people work, because we want to get as much stimulation and core into each exercise we do. But you're able to do that, and it's just stay light, stay high repetition, get a little bit of the cardio machine in of your choice. If you're feeling like, hey, running or jogging doesn't feel good on my back, I'm going to do elliptical or just bike. Do that. It's just keeping the blood flow going. But yeah, you don't have, that's exactly it. You would think, I got to avoid lifting weights. Don't keep going. Just go a little lighter on what you do, just to help that area, and then stretch. You got to stretch.
All right. So I'll get up off my couch. I promise, after this.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Cool.
We're going to have more tips and
Popping and locking.
More tips and tricks with Eric in our 7 o'clock hour. Eric, thanks so much.